But one thing I wanted to get at today too is you went away at your 2 year point. I'm getting ready to go away. My 2 year point is next week. I'm going away the weekend after that. But share with me some of the things that led you to going away and kind of what you did while you were away, if you're willing to,
Sure.
and the reasoning why it is so important for a widow to really take that time.
Well, for me, I felt like I don't want to say spinning out of control, but it was just so much anticipation leading up to this, and wanting to do the right thing. And I just knew I have to go away. I have to be by myself. Just just and it's someplace where nobody knows me, because then it's like, if I feel that I want to share why I'm wherever I am, then I can. Otherwise, I can just be Sharon, and nobody has to know.
Mm.
Um, so I went to the beach. I love the beach. Um, and it was interesting. I didn't even realize it until after I was there, that I went to Anna Maria Island in Florida here, and I didn't realize it until the second night when I was sitting at the sunset, and I was taking a picture, and I realized that Jeff and I had been at that exact same spot, because when I was looking at the picture of us, I was like, "Oh my God, that's the lights behind me.
Oh
That's
my
the
word.
umbrella." And it was the same as it was when we had went. And that's one of
I
my
love how
favorite.
God does that. You
I
talk
know,
about directing
right?
your steps.
And it
Woo!
was one of my favorite pictures of us, because
Wow.
we were so happy and we were at the beach, even though he didn't love the beach like I did. Um, um, and so that was like, oh my gosh, so it almost felt like he was with me.
Yeah.
But prior to that happening, I walked the beach, and I walked miles upon miles upon miles. And I took my journal, I took my devotionals, and I found a nice place where there was nobody around me, and I read, I wrote, and then I got into the water. And
Mhm.
it was almost like it was almost like a baptism of sorts for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I just walked out into the water, and of course it was nice and warm. There was people, but they were far away from me, so that was nice. And I could cry, I could talk, I could do whatever. But as I was looking out into the deep, beautiful water, part of me is like, well, if I just keep on going, you know, I don't know where I'll end up,
Right.
but I knew that wasn't the right thing to do. But it was the waves and just
Mm.
floating in it, and it was so healing. And
Oh,
then as I turned
yes.
around and I looked at the beach, it was kind of like I was looking back, and I was seeing like where I had been.
Mm.
And it boy, there was a lot of symbolism or something going on here.
Great. That's so
And then,
great.
I looked at
Yeah.
all that, and I thought, okay.
That's a
And I
great
turned around,
analogy.
and I just really wanted to look at that water and just feel it washing over me and floating me around. And I was out there for a long time, and it was so healing. It was
Wow.
almost like a healing baptism, something kind of thing going on. And I could talk to God, and share my thoughts, and cry, and nobody bothered me, nobody, so it was just me. And so, and then, when all the different things that I did, and going out when you're like that, you don't want to go to a fast food restaurant
Oh,
and
no. No, not at
just
all.
have fast food and take it back to your hotel or your Airbnb, wherever you are. So I went to a restaurant, and I sat by myself. And it's not the easiest thing to do, it's a hard thing to do. But then again, what if my husband was fishing or golfing or whatever, and I
Right.
was waiting for him? And so it's you that puts all that on yourself, that, oh my God, I'm here all by myself, my husband has died, and people are looking at me. It's
Yeah.
you that's doing that. Nobody else is. They
Yeah.
don't they don't even probably didn't even pay attention to it. But so I had some nice conversations with some people, and I
I
then
just want to read
when the days
something real quick that I just quickly looked up because, and I think this is going to hit home for you even more.
okay,
I might even cry saying it.
okay,
But Ephesians 5:25 says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of the water of the word."
there you go, there you go, there you go.
So God was using that washing of the water in the natural to let you know that he sees you, he knows you're there, he knows what you're going through.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
about your husband loving you well just as Christ loves you well.
that's beautiful. That's making me cry because
And,
oof,
and then it goes on to talk about that he might present her to him a glorious church without spot or wrinkle, that she should be holy and without blemish.
wow.
I just, the minute you said just the washing of the water, just that verse just popped up to me and I just had to read it. I just felt it was so appropriate at that moment because,
It was, and you can't, it's hard to share that with everybody because
yeah,
they won't get it, right? Because they don't have that feeling,
yeah.
and that love and oh, but I can tell you the next day after I woke up and I was ready to come home, I felt like I could take on the world. I was not the same woman I was when I went. I was broken, I was beaten down,
Mm.
it just, and then now I come back and
Once
I'm like,
again, not
okay,
only was your flesh renewed, but your spirit was renewed.
it was, it
And so
was,
that washing of the water was not only satisfying to your flesh, but it was what he was doing in your spirit of looking at back at the shore at your past and seeing where he's brought you
yeah,
to.
yeah. God is so good, and
That is so awesome.
he always has us. We
He
just
does.
sometimes we don't know it, we don't allow it. Let's put it that way. We don't allow it.
Oh, that's so
We're like,
true. Or
you
we
know,
try to rationalize things away when he's truly doing something for us in our lives. We
oh
want to make it all about what we can make sense of, what's logical, what's this, what's that. But sometimes, you know, God's ways are not our ways. His
no,
ways are so much higher than our ways.
yeah, yeah,
And sometimes if we could allow him those moments to take a moment like that to show that he still got us.
yeah,
He still holds us, he still cares about us. And then even still in that moment for us to realize our husbands, he's got them and he's holding them. And don't think for 1 minute that Jeff and Eric are not bidding on our behalf. I believe that they are. I believe
yeah.
that we do that for our loved ones in heaven, for those of us that are still left here on earth.
I agree. And I mean, I know your relationship with Eric, and my relationship with Jeff. The love went deep. It went
Deep, deep,
so
deep.
deep. That y-
One of
you
my
know,
favorite
can't,
one of my
yeah.
favorite lines um, is there's a movie, and the movie just hits home even more to me now. But it's called what is it? Remember, Return to Me. Return to Me. It's called Return to Me. Uh,
Okay.
I can't think of the actors that are in it. They're famous actors. A lot of famous people that are in it. The funny part about the movie was it was so significant to me because it came out on the 1 year anniversary of my kidney transplant.
Oh,
And it was about a heart transplant. And the fact that it was about a transplant and it came out on the 1 year of my transplant, it became a movie that touched me deeply. To the point that in the theater, I was on the floor. I was a mess when
mm,
it came to the point where she sent the letter to the family that she got the heart from, And when the letter was read, because I had just done that to the family that I got the kidney from their 18-year-old son.
Wow.
But the twist of the movie, and I hate to ruin it for people, but it is so significant for us, is a man, his wife was killed in a car accident, and it was her heart that went into this other young woman. He ends up falling in love with this other woman that had his wife's heart, and he didn't know it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And in the movie, and I know you've heard me say this before because that love does run so deep. But in the movie, he said, "My heart aches for this person, the new woman that he fell in love with, and the reason his heart ached for her is because he loved her as much as he loved his wife, and here his wife's heart was inside of her." And there's this scene where he sees her after he finds out she knew it and she didn't want to tell him, so she leaves, and then he finds her again. And he says that his heart aches for her. And then when they see each other the first time, the first thing he does is puts his head down on her chest to hear the heartbeat.
Wow.
And
Ooh.
it's probably one of the best movies that I've ever seen. I mean, it's such a great, great movie. But I say that all the time. My heart aches for
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
aches for him.
It does. Yeah.
And and I'm so thankful for the eternal perspective of being able to see him again.
Yes. I
Because
think that's what keeps us going.
oh, it absolutely is. But that
Yeah.
aching, I don't know that that ever subsides. You know, but that movie has come to mean more to me since Eric's gone. That I mean, it meant a lot to me with the transplant, but now it means more to me even now that Eric's gone. When I watch it, it has like a double meaning to me.
Yeah.
So
Wow. I'm gonna have to watch it.
we can watch it together.
We could.
I'll
I would like that.
bring it when we have our girls' weekend.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah.
But
It's
but the importance, back to what we were talking about, the importance of how deep our love is was for each other. Don't ever let anybody diminish that um, in you, because
yeah.
people will try. I mean, Eric was only gone 3 weeks when somebody made the statement to me, "I'm praying for your next husband," and that was the last thing I ever wanted to hear. I still have no desire. I have don't even have it in me to even think about anybody else. But that's the insensitivity a lot of times of people because they're trying to make you like them because they know you're no longer like them.
Yes. Yes.
And instead of accepting you where you are in that moment and just being there, just not even saying words or anything, but just being there in that moment instead of trying to fix you or make it where all that goes away because it's not going to go away. It's a fact.
It's just not. It's
It's a,
just.
it's a fact that's
And
not going to go away, you know?
and I know that I just had this conversation today with a friend of mine, and I said I I still think my husband is right here.
Oh,
I
I know. I
I
know.
don't think I feel him right here,
Yeah.
and in so many different ways, and I and I know a lot of people, some people rush to get in another relationship, and I'm not judging anybody. You
No.
everybody
Uh-uh.
do what
No.
what you need to do for
Right.
whatever reason it is that you need to do it. Some it's like they're just trying to get that feeling, that love feeling back again, because then that'll make the hurt go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
um but I just feel like Jeff is just on a, he's away on a fishing trip or a
Yep.
business trip or
Yep.
whatever. He's just right there, because I certainly talk to him all the time. But there is no desire for me to, get in another relationship or anything. And I've had this conversation with a number of gentlemen, and I said, I'm not interested in that. And but I need them to know that. Um, and some have lost their wives, but I'm not interested in that. But that doesn't mean it's not for somebody else. I'm not going to judge
Right.
you, but gosh, and I don't know what God's got down the road, but I find it really hard to believe that um that would be something that would enter my life. I just don't.
Right.
But I don't know, but goodness sakes,
Here we are, year two, and we're still here.
so much in love. Yeah, we're still here. We're so much still in love with Eric and Jeff, and it's
We
like
are.
and I miss so much.
Yeah.
I think the physical missing
Yeah.
is, I wrote a little. It started off as just like I thought maybe a poem or something like this, but it said, it's behind my smile. Don't
Mm.
know what's behind that smile, what you miss so much. And I mean, I can look at a picture and it's like, oh man, I miss that. I miss that. I miss that physical touch.
Yeah.
there's so many simple things and even stupid things, you
Yes.
know, you
Yeah, well,
know,
like I told you yesterday. Was it yesterday when you and I were talking? And I said I had a moment on Monday where I looked up something on Instagram, saw
yes,
something on Instagram, and I knew for a fact that I would have said that to Eric. He would have called me up. We would have rolled laughing on the phone, just laughing. That's one thing I miss is somebody to literally hysterically laugh with. That's something Eric and
yeah,
I did all the time was laugh. And I knew he would have done that. And instead, I was sitting there, and nobody else would have gotten it. Nobody else would have even gotten the joke. But he would have totally gotten it. And I was just sitting there going, I don't even have anybody to send it to. And so instead of laughing, I'm crying, but I'm laughing at the video, but I'm crying at the same time because I just want to send it to him because he
yeah,
would find it funny. I can't even send it to my kids because they're like, that's stupid, mom, you know?
yeah. They don't get it. Yeah, yeah, they don't get it. I know. I know. Yeah,
It just wouldn't make any sense to them. But their dad would have found it hilarious. They would have found it so funny. And yet, it's not, there's nobody to send it to. So it is. It's things like that. It's those little things that you can come to miss so much. And here we are into year two. It was so funny that you talk about relationships. There was this lady that I work for. Her a neighbor of hers. It hasn't even. I think it's just been a little over a year that he lost his wife, and he's already got a girlfriend or something. And and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong in this, but I think sometimes men just do it quicker than women because one, they don't know how to navigate being alone, or two, they want to be told what to do.
yeah, yeah. As much as they crab about that,
And
don't
we
be
don't
bothering
like to be
me
told
now.
what to do.
It's like, yeah, but you like that. You like that. You miss that. And I think I even made reference to that. You'd miss that if I was gone. You would miss that. Just like, yeah, I sure would. You know, but oh man, I
That's
can't.
so
Yeah,
funny.
I can't even fathom it. I'm just like it just
So
and
funny.
and I see people that move on, and I mean, and I don't even know how you would ask that question, but how did you get there? How
Well,
what how did you get there? How did you get to that point where
they come see me at least anywhere from 6 months to 2 years afterwards. Let's just put it that way.
yeah.
Since I do marriage counseling,
Oh, right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You get to
the
see
biggest
like what
majority of
happens
people
on the
I see
backside.
are marriages after widowhood, and it's usually people in their 60s and 70s. And usually I see them because things are melting down after the honeymoon's over. And it usually takes anywhere from 6 months to 2 years for that honeymoon stage to be over before problems start. And So
know.
that's what happens.
That's a whole nother podcast for
That
us.
is a whole nother
The remarriage thing and or dating and remarriage. It's
Yeah,
like
we won't. We're not going to do that
we
right
have to have some guest speakers on at that time.
We're going
You explain this because we
to have some.
no, but but on the flip side of the coin of that, what is nice is, I mean, we all want to feel like we're desirable,
Oh,
that we're still
absolutely.
lovable, that we still, someone likes our personality or whatever. So we want to still feel those things, but I think there's, you know, differences with men and women that, women want those things, but yet we don't want anything attached to it.
Well,
We're men, and
well,
not all men.
to be honest with you, women are emotional, so we have more of a spiritual connection
Yeah,
versus men are physical and they have more of a flesh connection. And so there is that. But I will say this, to do it successfully, and I'm not saying it can't be done successfully, but to do it successfully, there are specific things that need to be worked out beforehand before you ever make that full jump into marriage. Because if you don't address these specific items beforehand, they will become a problem later. It's like anything. If you cut your finger really deep and then you go out and you rub it in the dirt and then you go and you don't wash it and you just let it sit dirty for months and months and months on end, oh, you could put a band-aid on it and you could ignore it for a while, but eventually that's going to get infected.
yeah,
And then when that gets infected, at some point there's going to be a problem.
yeah.
And it's going to need to be addressed. If you don't address those items beforehand,
And
then
I think there's a
you are
lot
going
to
to
be
deal with
addressed.
the infection 6 months to 2 years in.
Sure.
And I mean that's just all there is to it. And that's one thing that I'm thankful for, is at least I know that, so that I know the right questions to ask and I know the right things to do to go through.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
For helping people if they want that help. If people
Yeah.
really truly want that help, it's there for them to have it, and they
Right.
they
Right.
will be successful in it, but they have to have that on the front end.
Right.
And
Right.
I know for Eric and I, we did that for years, where we did even pre engagement counseling for couples who did things before they even gotten engaged to see if they were ready to go. And we used these same things for these. And the couples that did that, they are like on top of the world, thriving in their marriages, doing great.
Yep.
But the
That's a great,
couples
great thing to do.
that
I do.
didn't,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
come to see me 3, 4, 5, some even 8, 10 years later, because things are melting down again.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to relationships, that's something important to know, that there's things you can do if you do want that relationship on the front end that will make you successful on the back end.
Not all fun and games.
No, but we worked through, I mean, look at us, 31 years and you were 43,
42 years. Yep.
42 years. I mean, that was a lot of work. But
Oh, yeah.
we were young and we learned and did it together. When you
Exactly.
do it when you're
Hey,
older, there's a whole different ball game and a whole different
oh,
package.
oh, yeah.
I mean, you got a trunk full of luggage. When, when you're
I can't even imagine. It's like I don't have the emotional capacity
I'm
to take
telling
on
you,
anything like that right now. I just don't. But
oh,
but yeah, the second year,
yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just heartache.
it
It's
is
heartache.
heartache. It is heartache because you're navigating it alone, and the reality of it comes in year two.
It
I
really
would
does.
almost personally, and I think you've even said this, that year two was almost harder than year one.
Yeah, for
Because year
sure.
one, you're literally just trying to breathe. And in year two, you've come to the realization, hey, I'm in this
This,
alone.
yeah, yeah.
And if things go bad in my life, I'm the one to blame.
Right? Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have
Right,
somebody to
exactly.
blame.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh,
Unless
it's
I blame it on the fact that he's no longer here, but I'm not going to do
right,
that to him, because I don't blame him for seeing
right,
heaven and running to the throne and,
right,
worshiping
right.
it.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make it any easier. So,
It doesn't.
well, I think we covered year two pretty good.
I think we did. I think we did. So if anybody has any other suggestions, any other um, comments that they want, please, get in touch with us. You can find us, on our, comment section or wherever, our email. And if you know us, you can call us. But please share this with other people, because there are a lot of widows and widowers that are hurting. So
Yeah,
we just, this might help them. So share it with them, subscribe to our channel, like us, share us. You know, we're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the different podcasts. So yep.
definitely.
And we love you guys, and we're doing our best. But you're walking this walk with us. But we're just two gals sitting across the table and having coffee together, or juice and water, whatever. But we just like to talk it out, because sometimes what we think, um you're feeling, and you don't know. So we stick together in this.
Yeah. We're
So
trying to make what's happened to us, realize that you're not alone. You're not alone.
yeah, you're definitely not alone. And we find new people all the time.
We do. We do.
So, all right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Dowagers.
Bye bye.